Good morning, Rose Red Homestead, and today we are going to do, guess what? An experiment. Surprise, surprise. Actually, it's going to be 2-in-1. And this certainly does go to self-reliance and food security. And if it works, it'll go to emergency preparedness because we'll do more. We are going to be doing 4 pints of Mediterranean potatoes. Now, let me tell you about why we're doing this. First of all, I learned so much from the comments under our how to use our home canned white potatoes video. My gosh, we have over 700 comments under that video, and people are helping people and giving us such good ideas, and I shared some of those a while back. But one of the things that I wanted to try was doing potatoes the way several people suggested, which was to soak them for 2 or 3 hours, change that soaking water, put them in the refrigerator overnight, and then do a quick blanching. And that's what I have done with these potatoes. So I soaked them for about 3 hours yesterday before we went to bed, changed the water 3 times. The first water was quite starchy, and then the rest of the water seemed to be quite clear. And then this morning I blanched them for 2 minutes exactly. I got the water boiling, put the potatoes in. When the potatoes came back to a boil, then I timed it for 2 minutes and then took them off and plunged them into cold water. So that's not what the instructions to these Mediterranean potatoes say. But I did the potatoes that way anyway because I want to find out if we can get rid of that starchy stuff that's in the bottom of the jars and just have some pretty clear liquid in the potatoes. The second part of the experiment is that Jim and I are really enjoying our air fryer, and we do like what it does to different types of potatoes. Generally, when I do potatoes, I will do them peel them and cut them into some shape and then put stuff on the top of the potatoes and then air fry them. And we have enjoyed very much what we have done. But I wondered about the possibility, so what if I do something with these potatoes, can them so that I can take them out of the jar and it already has some flavor infused into the potatoes. And so that's what I'm doing with these Mediterranean potatoes today. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put the potatoes in this bowl, and then I'm going to add bell peppers, onions, some spices, and some lemon zest. And I'll be giving the amounts of those as we go and print that on the screen. And then we're going to put them in the jars and then cover them with hot vegetable broth and then can them. Now, this recipe is very similar to potatoes O'Brien, if you're familiar with that, except that these potato chunks are much larger than you would want with potatoes O'Brien. And potatoes O'Brien does not have the spices, it just has salt and pepper. So a little bit similar. Then what we're going to do is when we get them out of the canner and let them cool completely, a lesson I have learned, then we're going to open up one and actually try it and show the results at the end of this video. So let's get going. First thing is to put the potatoes in this bowl. And this is exactly 2.5 pounds of peeled russet potatoes. Then I have 1 cup of bell pepper, and I chose to use both red and green. And then 1 cup of onion, chopped onion. This is 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon pepper, 1 teaspoon oregano. And last of all is 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, which I thought would really give a nice flavor. This recipe is in the Ball Blue Book. It is a tested recipe. So then we're going to just stir these potatoes around and make sure that the ingredients get evenly distributed throughout the bowl. I'm going to get a bigger bowl. This one is slowing me down. Okay, now I'm just going to mix. Much easier. So the spices are coating the potatoes, and the peppers and onions are falling through the cracks. Okay, I have the vegetable broth on the stove ready to boil. So let's go ahead and fill these jars. So pretty evenly distributed. I have just a few potatoes left, so this turned out just almost perfect. Now we'll bring the broth over and fill the jars with broth. They're very pretty in the jar. Now the peppers will fade a little bit, of course. We're going to put them right over here in the Nesco. Rack is in here. 2 quarts of water is in here. I've checked to make sure the vent is clear of debris, and so we are ready to go. According to the tested recipe, processing time is 35 minutes. I'm going to be sure that the pressure regulator is in the up position, and we're going to push high, and then we're going to set the timer for 35 minutes. And start. And there it is. So we'll be back when these are finished processing and the canner has cooled down completely, keeping our fingers crossed that this will be a great experiment. So we will see you soon. Canner has finished and it's been sitting here for about 5 minutes, so let's see what we've got. Well, it looks really good. Little tiny bit of siphoning, not much at all. Okay. Now, of course, the true test won't come for several days. These have to sit on the shelf. We'll have to see if the starch collects and makes that gunky stuff at the bottom, or whether the potatoes are going to be nice and clear. I am anxious to try these in the air fryer. So either later this evening or else maybe even tomorrow, we will do that. And when we try them in the air fryer, open them up after they have cooled and try them in the air fryer, then we'll come back and let you know how that worked out before we end this video. So we will see you when we are ready to show off how they do in the air fryer. Good morning. It is the next day and we have decided to have these potatoes for breakfast. So I have everything all set out. I'm going to first open the jar and I'm going to drain them into the sink. Oh my goodness, they smell so good. Oh gosh, yes. I think we've gotten some flavor infused in those potatoes. So now I'm just going to put them in this bowl and just pat them off a little bit. I want some of that water off of them, some of the liquid. Then one of the things that I have learned in our air fryer is that it always takes a little bit of oil for our taste, because otherwise things are too dry and they don't get as crispy. So I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil there. Now remember, we put salt and pepper in the recipe for these. So I can't wait. I'm just going to take a little teeny tiny bite right here. We've got flavor in the potatoes, so that is fantastic. Now, this is my air fryer tub. So I always spray just a little bit of nonstick in there, even though it itself is nonstick. I always do that anyway. Dump those in and make them single layer. Now I'm going to put these in the air fryer and we'll be back in 10 minutes. These were done in 8 minutes. Look how beautiful they look. Oh, I just can't wait. Okay, so we're just going to put them out here on this plate. Oh my goodness, they're crispy and browned. The peppers are there, the onions are there. And now it's time for a taste. I'm going to cut this little guy in half. Let's see how it is. Crispy on the outside, soft, hot center, and the flavor is infused throughout. This is a success. I will definitely be using this recipe, only I'm not going to do it in pints. I'm going to do it in quarts because this is a full pint. And yes, Jim and I can split this. And that probably is good. But, I mean, this would be enough for us for a breakfast or whatever. But I would like it in quarts so that I could do it twice with opening one jar. So, success. Thank you so much for being with us, and we hope you try this recipe. It is fabulous. So we will see you at our next video.